Go live. Thank you all for checking me out and coming in. We are going to try and do this live. I had been using a different device, so we're going to see if I can get the link for YouTube viewers to work if they want to, come in and do all the little talking to me or whatever you guys want to call it. How's everybody doing today? We're all doing good? Good. Good to hear. There's nobody in here yet. Oh my goodness. Discord. I need to put you off right now. Bye, Discord. I don't need you right now, Discord. I can't convince myself. Convince me. Yeah, did you hear that Discord popping off? That was wild. Smash that like button, all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, this is the Deconstruction Junction. I am the founder and a member. Not only am I the president, but I'm a member. Do you guys remember those commercials for, what was it, like hair, something for men? Hey, Penguin. What's up, Penguin? It's been a while. Hello, everybody else. I know I'm kind of like taken away from Days. I know Days is like live right now. So, I mean, honestly, Hair Club for Men. That's what it was. Not only am I the president, I'm a member. And yeah, the same thing with the Deconstruction Junction, which is our Discord. You can get there by going to discord.gg/DECONJCT. And then for those of you coming in through YouTube, if you'd like to come up and convince me on how to become a Christian, I would appreciate that. You can do that by clicking the little link that I've pinned in the chat. Otherwise, we will be relying on people on TikTok, hopefully, to come in through. That is, if TikTok wants to push me out on the algorithm. They've been kind of mean to me lately. But that's okay. I can just, riff it, I guess. How's everybody else doing, though, huh? Click that like button if you could. Share it out. Christ Before Jesus is in here. The Christ Before Jesus. Wow. That's quite the honor, honestly. He probably just like, oh yeah, let's go, dude. Let's go. I want to become a Christian. I just haven't found a good enough reason to. So maybe if there's a good enough reason to become a Christian, I'll become a Christian. Let's see here. We have our first Christian that's going to be convincing me up here. Can I get your name, your address, and your age, please?
Yeah, my address is 12345 Main Street, California, and I am 29. I am a
Ooh.
devout Christian. I love Jesus so much. Oh my God.
I mean, I want to love Jesus so much. I'm trying to find you. Why can't I find your little icon for my YouTube? Oh well. Not a big.
I just think that the thing is that nobody's really shown you the beauty of Jesus. Everything he
Hmm.
ever said, everything in the red letters in the Bible
Yeah.
is
I
always beautiful. There's never anything bad in any of those red letters ever.
I actually have a red letter Bible that some great people sent me. And we'll have to try and pull that out maybe if I can find it. I think I might have burned it, honestly. You don't hear Crystal?
Uh, oh,
Oh shoot.
that's
Hold
weird.
on. No, it's me. I can't remember why that is. It was device cable input. That
So
should
I
be all
guess I could
good.
just talk shit
You
about
could.
Jaren and he wouldn't even be able to hear me.
No, you could. Yeah, Jaren can't hear anything that you're saying right now. Hold on. I'm going to try and fix this. If not, then I might just have to say screw it to trying to get the TikTokers to talk to the and the video ninjas. Let me see
Uh,
default. Why is that, Justin? I wish you were here for a second.
he's on
Um,
Ian's live.
oh, is he on Ian's live? Cable
Yeah.
input. Maybe if I just hit default, can people hear you now? I wonder.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think they
Hi,
can
Yak.
because my speaker just turned up. Yay! I fixed it. See, I don't need Justin. I don't need
Okay,
no
so
one.
good thing that Jaren didn't hear anything I said about him and his mother.
That's even if Jaren stuck around. Jaren hates me. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Is there some kind of Richard Carrier,
He did
like
stick around, actually. See, I just wanted to get a
Dan
reaction.
McClellan?
Richard Carrier, Dan McClellan thing going on. I
Yeah.
haven't written a
Did you
book.
side with them?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I did hear that Jaren was a heretic uh, among atheists and skeptics. So do with that what you will. Let me see. Why can't I pick you up, Crystal?
Jaren, my son dismissed me this week when I mentioned that Paul might not exist. And then when I proceeded to try to explain to him why I said such a thing, he just dismissed me. He dismissed me, Jaren. Should I just disown him now? Is that what I should do at this point?
Wait, your
I am a
son?
nice lady.
Who dismissed you?
Yeah, my
Why?
son. He was just like, he said that it was a very niche take, and I said, I know, but can I explain to you why? And I started to like explain why I knew it was a niche take among scholars, but why, that doesn't mean anything. And then he just like dismissed me. And I was like, wow, wow, okay, I don't know. I might have to dismiss you. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why people. Well, I don't.
Oh, hi, Jaren's mom.
Aw. She said, I don't know her, but tell her hi. I love this like three-way, four-way conversation that's going on through you, me, and the chat on TikTok right now.
All because I was trying to pick on Jaren to begin with.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, I am still trying to become a Christian, and I need to be convinced of doing so. But in order to do so, I need to have actual like Christians coming in and talking to me, uh, and trying to convince me. Because hey, Zach, without that, then I just have a bunch of atheists just saying like, "Why? What are you doing, Ben? You know, like what?
Yeah.
Why
So it's
would you
really
do
important that
this?"
you guys tap the screen and share out the live. Let's get these. I know there's only 12 of us, right? But if we all tap really hard and like fast and furious or something, I don't know.
Too fast,
We
too
can get it
furious.
up to 5,000 likes. And then we need those shares to go up to 100 as quickly as possible. So if you could repost that, add it to your stories, copy link, whatever, and then go up, hit that heart me. It's one coin. It's one coin. Okay. Hit the heart me and then go back up and hit that claim, claim, claim button because
Oh
those
yeah, and you get a
points
comment or
help
something.
make a team for Benny, and then he moves up in the league ranking, and that league ranking affects it, so he gets pushed out to the FYP. Blah blah blah. Jimmy, Benny loves talking to you. Why don't you come up and tell him why he should?
Become a Christian?
He
I don't know if
should
Jimmy's
trip on
really like
mushrooms.
necessarily Christian though.
No, he's not. He believes that you know meds can get you to God. But I watched Thinker and Bash and them just cook the heck out of him.
There we go. Sorry if you're seeing like double of yourself. I was trying to get your like little
That's
picture
cool.
up. There we go. This is what Justin does. It's wizardry, honestly. It's illusions. I'm just being an illusionist. Oop.
That's really cool, man. Jimmy, you ask why we're up here every day talking about this stuff, but you're here at all of our shows. So Obviously, you find it entertaining. That would probably be one reason we do it. We entertain people like you.
Yeah, and we like the discussion, right? So, like, I want to be convinced to become a Christian. Why is there not like a good reason to become a Christian, right? Like, there just doesn't seem to be one. I haven't heard it yet. Other than like, it gives you easy answers. That's like probably the only thing that I could think of like why you would want to become a Christian. But even then, you have to like convince yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't work for me. I need to be convinced. So yeah, if anybody even watching from YouTube, if you want to call in, you can, I believe. We'll see if it works. There's a link on the
Give it
chat.
a try.
Yeah, if you want to call in, and we'll try and get you in. And I think I have it to where you can do. Oh, we got somebody here.
All right.
Yep.
Reconnecting. Hello. Adding you in. Hold on, sir. Where is it? Video Ninja Guest. Come back. Come back.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hold on. Can you say something?
I'm saying something. Can you hear me, sir? Can the people listening, can you hear this man?
I can hear him.
You can? Okay, good.
We're good.
Well, at least we can hear you. They can't see you, but that's probably okay. Like, I don't know if you even want to be up on the big screen here. What's your name and how old are you? Are you over 18?
It's Matt.
Matt? Nice to meet you, Matt. Are you
Yep.
over 18? Just because TikTok terms of service, we can only have people over 18.
Fine.
Hmm?
Yes. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
you are. Okay.
Sorry, my
So
mic is pretty bad.
there we are. There you are.
There we go.
See, now you came up. All right. My computer was just being really slow. All right. Can you hear my friend Crystal? Crystal, say something.
Hey, can you hear me? No.
Nothing,
Okay,
Can't
well,
Matt?
hear
I'll just
anything.
mute up and you two
No.
talk,
Okay.
and I will
Just you.
pretend like you're talking to a ghost.
That's fine. Crystal doesn't have much that she brings to the table anyways.
I really don't.
Yeah, she's just more
Except
like
mocking Benny.
she's just eye candy. Uh all right. So Matt, what brings you up? Are you going to convince me to become a Christian?
Sorry.
Okay. What's your best convincing argument?
Sure, I got a syllogism prepared here. I'll just read off of it, if that's
A
fine.
syllogism, huh? Should I get like my notepad out? Okay.
Do you have a whiteboard?
I don't
Alright,
have a
so
whiteboard, no. Go on.
alright. So premise one. All
Premise.
things that are potential are actualized by something already actual. I'm using Aristotelian metaphysics, if that's fine. So for example, like a glass cup. A glass cup is actually a glass cup, but it has the potential to be shattered into pieces by something already actual, like a baseball bat.
Okay, I get what
Premise
you're
two,
saying.
this creates a hierarchical instrumental causal chain where each potential is actualized by something prior. So nothing within this hierarchical chain has inherent intrinsic power. Everything comes from something external or something already purely actual.
I deny that premise.
We'll come back to that. Premise three.
Okay.
The causal chain cannot be infinite because an instrumental causal chain has no
Ooh.
inherent causal
I
power, only a
deny that
derivative.
one.
For example, like an infinitely long paintbrush. An infinitely long paintbrush cannot paint a painting. It has to have something external to it. So an infinitely long causal chain in a hierarchical sense, I'm not talking a causal sense, like a linear, but I'm talking hierarchical, has no intrinsic causal power. So, premise four, what logically follows is that you need something that is already purely actual. Premise five, this purely actual actualizer must be immaterial because if it was material, then it would not be pure act. Conclusion, the pure actual actualizer with no passive potency, we call this God. That's my conclusion.
Hey,
Where do you
Okay.
want to go from there?
Give me a second. Crystal's trying
I
to
just
tickle my
wanted
ear.
to. I
What's up,
just
Kristen?
want to know how this brings us to you becoming a Christian.
Oh, that was gonna bring yeah. Well, okay. So, Matt, I do. Let's see here. I want to make sure I have your premises at least somewhat. It was kind of I was trying to follow along and multitask at the same time. But so there was 5 premises and a conclusion, right? I think I was starting
Yes,
off
it
on
was.
your 5th premise. What was your 5th premise again?
This pure actual actualizer must be immaterial and eternal, because if it was not, then it would not be pure act. And it must also be one as well, because if it was not one, then it will not be pure act. So there must be one purely actualizer that's immaterial and eternal.
So let me try and read back what I have here. All right. So I have premise 1: all things that are potential are actualized by something actual, like by something that is also actual, right?
Already, actually, yes.
Okay.
I
Premise,
used the glass cup example.
yeah. So like, yeah. Okay. Premise 2: this creates a causal, a hierarchical causal chain. Everything comes from, and I didn't really finish that one, but basically it causes there's a causal chain, right?
An
That
instrumental causal chain.
An
Yes.
instrumental causal chain. What do you mean by instrumental?
It has no intrinsic causal power. It only gets it from something external to it
Okay.
or prior.
So, all right. Premise 3: an inherent causal chain cannot be infinite, is what I have.
Not an inherent. So a causal chain in this hierarchical sense,
Okay.
it has no inherent causal power within it. So while a different type of causal chain would be like a linear one, I don't reject that that can be infinite. So that would be like the universe. That's not
Right.
a hierarchical. That is a causal, linear chain. So what I'm talking about is a hierarchical chain, which is a little bit different. It doesn't have any intrinsic causal power within it. It must have something that's already at the bottom of it, that's already pure act or something external to it.
Can you give an example, by chance, of anything else that is like other than what the syllogism's trying to like argue for this type of
So,
hierarchical causal chain? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
mhm. So right now on my desk, I have a lamp. So this lamp is not supporting itself. It has a desk underneath it that's supporting it. So the lamp is contingent on the fact of the table being underneath it. And the table is not supporting itself either. The table is contingent under the floor being underneath it. And my floor is not supporting itself.
Gotcha.
The floor is contingent on the earth. And the earth in this sense would be uh final chain, basically, the bedrock. So it would go from lamp, table, floor, earth.
Okay. Okay.
It's kind of an example.
So this like
I,
isn't taken into account like matter, like of any types, or like dark matter then even.
Okay. Nope. Or quantum physics, that must be a cause too.
Oh wait, sorry, Lath. I don't know if I can actually have you up because you're not going to be able to speak to this person. Uh let me see. Okay. So, let's get back here. So, a hierarchical causal chain cannot be infinite. What it logically follows means that you need a purely actual like actualizer, and that purely actual actualizer must be immaterial is your 5th premise, right?
Yes, because if it were not, then it would not be pure act.
So, you're saying that God is pure act.
Yes. I am Roman Catholic, so we would call God pure act with no passive potency.
Okay. So, if God is pure act, there's nowhere in your premises that say that actual like acts themselves are contingent upon anything.
So the only acts in that sense that would be contingent if they're not pure acts, if they have some sort of passive potency to them. But God has no passive potency to him, and he's pure acts. So that's why he wouldn't apply to the rest of the chain in
Do
the
you have
same
an
way.
example of anything else being pure act?
Nope, just God.
So God is the only thing, And he must be the only thing that is pure act.
Yes, because it must be one, it must be eternal, and it must be immaterial to be pure act.
Why? Why does it must be one? Why are those the parameters?
So he's saying that those are, sorry, Crystal was asking, why must those be the parameters? If you want to answer that.
So if we use something else, like the Earth example, the Earth would not be pure actual, it would not be pure act because it revolves around the sun. So it would have some passive potency to it, and everything within the universe would have some passive potency to it, and there would be
Why
nothing
couldn't
as
there be
pure act
multiple
to it.
gods? Who
So
said it
why
had to
couldn't
be
there
Earth or
be
anything like that?
multiple gods? That's what she's asking.
Because if there was anything different between the gods that made them distinct, then they would not be pure act because then they would actualize each other, and that they would be interacting with each other, and that would cause passive potency between them.
Gotcha. So, okay. Now I want to jump to
I reject that premise.
she rejects that premise. Why so, Crystal?
Because that's just a presupposition.
You have
He's
two purely
because it's
presupposing
a-
that if there's more than one God, that would occur, and
Oh,
we
okay.
couldn't know that possibly
She's saying
without
it's a
an
presup.
example of that.
Not really, but I guess okay.
How couldn't it be?
It's more deducive.
I don't get that.
I'm trying to do the
as
logic in
a
my head
logical
here.
deduction.
So, okay,
Mhm.
God is purely act, which is, I mean, I can get on board with like the Roman Catholic looking at that, and I guess that's where I kind of am more concerned. This syllogism.
Exactly what deconstruction deacon is saying. God exists because he's pure act without demonstrating either that he is God or that he is pure act. We're just at this point making blanket statements that are all presuppositional. He's given actually no definitive proof of any of his.
Well, yeah, that's what okay. So Crystal's saying that God hasn't actually. God, I wish I could just get you two to talk to each other again. I might have to just look and see how I can get this to work. Let's see here. Output.
You're static, but that's about it.
Do you don't hear? Yeah, that might be what's coming through my headphones. Let me see. Maybe if I do default, Crystal, say something.
Hey, deconstruction deacon, how are you today?
Can you hear that? No? Okay. Damn. I wonder why. You know, I had this all fixed one time and then it like never worked after that. All right. So all things are potential are actualized by something actual. This creates a causal hierarchical causal chain. And it cannot be infinite. So that's where I
When
get a
he was
little lost.
describing the lamp and the table to the earth, Benny, the lamp isn't contingent on the table existing to exist. The lamp is contingent on the table existing to avoid gravity. So that wasn't even a very good analogy.
Right. I think, would you also be able to say, Matt, that like a hierarchical causal chain could be like a person is in a house, the house is on land, a land is, you know, on a country or continent, a continent is on the planet Earth. Would that be a hierarchical chain?
That would be an example.
She's trying to say that you were inferring that the existence of a lamp is dependent on the table.
Yeah, I was using a string kind of lamp, table, floor.
Right. So you're
which
okay.
is it's different from the universe. So like Big Bang and then everything else after that, that's a little bit different. That's a more linear causal chain. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a hierarchical causal chain.
Right. And I get what you're trying to like, and then the hierarchical cannot be infinite. So a hierarchical causal chain, you're saying that like matter and dark matter don't like come into play at all in that. So like for this causal chain, it would have something that would have I guess an uncaused cause.
Yeah,
like
the way Aquinas puts it, kind of.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Aquinas, but he makes the same argument.
Aquinas?
The unmoved mover, the purely actual actualizer.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. And I don't know, does he refer to that as a hierarchical causal chain or like a more of a contingent, like contingency type
Mm.
of thing? Uh,
Um, his
like a
first three
linear
ways,
chain.
if you're familiar with his 5 ways, his first three were more hierarchical.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Well, see, the thing about a lot of that is that Aquinas, like premises a lot of this that you can't logically get to God, right? You actually require faith. That's like directly from
Not,
Aquinas. That's like part
not
of
necessarily, but
that's like definitely part of like what he's getting at with his 5 ways. Like in order to like
mm,
justify God, you would need faith that you cannot logically get to God. That
I
first you have to
mean,
have at least this kind of faith leap that I guess maybe that's what Crystal's referring to with the presupposition that that there is this uncaused cause.
you'd also have to take a faith leap to say there is no God. So I'm not sure really how this is applying.
And I don't know why people who have faith want people who don't have faith to have faith because, like, faith is supposed to be really holy, really important to you as a
You
Christian.
cut out there for a
And by
second. I
saying that
can't really hear you.
non believers
Sorry,
have faith,
Crystal's talking. I'm trying
then
to
you're actually kind of diminishing or minimizing your actual faith.
So Crystal's saying that she doesn't understand why people like yourself might like ask others to require faith because now you're actually diminishing. What was that, Crystal? You're diminishing their.
Diminishing and minimizing your own faith, which should be holy and sacred to
You're
you.
diminishing your own
It's
faith
what
by
separates
asking
you from
others
non believers.
to kind of take on this faith. Uh, that's an interesting thing. Sorry, Crystal. I'm just gonna have to ask you. Like, I just this is too hard to like try and
No, no, it's
translate.
okay. I will just stay mute.
Sorry.
I don't really see how that
Uh,
statement follows.
because now I'm like
That didn't make
I'm
much sense.
I'm trying to like say what she's saying and also like create my own, like response to what you're saying here. My problem with all of this then is the
Mhm.
the idea of any kind of like contingency or causal uh, hierarchical or linear or however you want it. It logically deduces or it infers that something is always caused by something else. It's logically infinite. To have a cause, it is the effect of
Mm.
something else. Something caused it. To have an
Yeah. So that's
uncaused
why we.
cause is where you're defining something that to me sounds irrational or illogical into it like existence. You're like literally like saying an oxymoron to me.
Mhm.
That's like saying like
Yeah.
a non-red red thing.
I
It's
mean,
like,
that's how we do define God. So I don't really see how this follows.
well, I mean, doesn't that sound silly to you?
A pure actual actualizer?
No, an uncaused
I feel like it's
cause.
more silly to say that there's an infinite causal chain with no inherent intrinsic causal power to it.
But why? When physics actually kind of agrees with that.
Because 0 times infinity is still 0. So if there's no intrinsic causal power, you can't have this. It's still illogical. The same way that an infinitely long paintbrush can't paint a painting. It would need something external to it because it has
You're
no intrinsic causal
you're
power.
making categorical errors of what like an infinite
Oh,
and a finite thing are. So you're like trying to define infinite like into finite, right? You're not supposed to do
how?
that
How am I
because
doing that?
to say an infinitely long paintbrush to paint a painting. So is if the painting was also infinite and the painting was like the cause of the painting was also infinite and every single like action involved was infinite, then yeah, why couldn't it?
I think you're missing the point of my analogy. I'm saying that an infinitely long paintbrush can't just paint something. It would have to have something external to it.
So an infinitely
That's
long painter or an infinitely painting painter, I guess.
sure.
So all right, but
Then what
anyways,
caused that?
right.
At
Uh
some point, you have to terminate the causal chain.
No, I mean you could just say that it's self causing. If you want to like define God as the universe, which is infinite or whatever, like my point is that we don't know, right? You're trying to
So the
infer that.
universe has passive potency, so it wouldn't work.
So why wouldn't the universe? Because we live in it, we actualize it, right? By experiencing it. Why
Makes
can't
sense.
it be self-actualizing? We are part of the
It
universe,
has
are we
passive
not?
potency to it, so it can't be pure act
Why?
because it was caused by something prior to it.
Who said that?
The Big Bang.
No, the Big Bang is not the start.
For
Do you
this
know,
universe
like,
we're in.
have you ever like read of like any of like cyclic universe
Yes.
theory? Okay, so all we know
And then cosmological.
that the Big Bang is like a state of like extremely low entropy, right? So when the Big
Mhm.
Bang happened, we moved from a state of extremely low entropy to a state of entropy. And now we are
Um,
currently in, as beings within this kind of experience that the way we experience time, which we could get into all of that too. But
but the universe is still within time. That's what the point of it. It has to be outside of time in order
no,
to be
the
not passive
universe
potency.
the universe is space and time and matter.
Mhm.
The universe isn't
It's still
within
within it.
time. The universe is time.
So
Space and time are
it must
relative.
be outside of time in order to be pure act.
No, see, this is where like logic gets a little weird because now you're trying to fit it into your syllogism. Where I'm saying that, like, the way that I look at this is that space and time are relative, right? We find that from the equation E equals mc squared. That means that energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So that means that mass, matter, energy, and time, which is inferred by the speed of light, are all relative to each other. So the universe is energy, mass, and time. Space time. That you've heard the term space time, right? Yeah. So, okay.
Taking high school.
So now the universe being within time to me doesn't sound logical, or it doesn't sound like an actual thing, because time itself is very weird. We don't actually have like a leading theory on time, right? We have like A
Mhm.
theory and B theory, where in A theory, God has free will could exist is basically what A theory of time means. In B theory, we all of the future, all of the past, all of the like present, they're all existing. And that is actually something that like within physics, they do see because of like the theory of relativity. So what relativity says is that, due to gravity, time can be curved, right? Or slowed down based off of mass, which we see in the E equals mc squared. So somebody's now, just like in that movie Interstellar, like Matthew McConaughey's now is different from his daughter's now. So if both
Mhm.
nows exist, then both the past, present, and future exist, because he would be like in her future, right? And
Yeah.
vice versa. And the physics works out for that. Also, physics kind of depends on a infinite universe. It's not to say that that means that the universe is infinite, but in order for our physics to work, we need to use an infinite universe as the model. So it's interesting that an infinite universe actually does have a lot of justification, other than logic. Like we could try and we can logic out many things. The fact that I was able to draw the same card out of two decks is kind of like irrational, or more than likely not logical to happen, but it happens. And logic isn't, I don't even think, something that we have like completely nailed down. Nor have we nailed down physics, though. which is why I'm open to becoming like convinced to be a Christian. So beyond your syllogism, which I will concede, I'll let this God exist. Sure. Let's give the unmoved mover, even though like I just explained how I do not agree with any of that. I'm going to concede it because I'm more interested in this part right here. Right? So how is God the God of Christianity?
Mm. So now we'll have to move on from this argument and get to a more evidential argument, and we can narrow down from broad theism to Christianity. So narrow down, scratch like Islam off the list, scratch Judaism off the list, and we can work our way
Yeah,
to
that's gonna be tough.
Christianity.
I feel like that's gonna be
If
tough
you'll
too.
grant me that,
How do you
will you let
scratch?
me do that?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, I'll start with Islam.
Sure.
Let me pull up some verses.
Actually, I'm going to concede on Islam because it was made 500 years after. So I don't give a shit.
All right, easy. Judaism. We'll move on to that.
Sure. That one I am
Um,
more interested in.
sure. Uh, here. So a way that I'll try to do that is show how Jesus did fulfill the Old Testament prophecies. Let me pull some up real quick.
Yeah, let's pull up some prophecies.
While he's pulling that up, you guys tap that screen.
Yeah,
Let's get
I'm
Benny
using the
to
Old Testament
25,000
and try to
likes.
Sure,
all
yeah,
the
if
ones
you
from my
I
knowledge.
think I could pull it up here and show it so we could share it with the audience. Let me see here. Where is my little window capture? Okay, what's the passage?
I'm starting Isaiah 53, obviously.
That's not a prophecy.
And yep, how's it not?
uh, Isaiah 53 is describing Israel, right? So when it's
So,
referring to the suffering servant,
well,
I just like want to get to the crux of this because Isaiah 53 is a big like a lot of people want to say that this is like a prophecy that even like refers to the Messiah, the Mashiach. No, no, not at all. This is actually referring to
I'm pulling it
Israel.
up.
And the suffering servant Jacob or Israel, which they refer to in like Isaiah 44. There's like many parts of Isaiah. Let's just see if we could pull up Isaiah.
So Isaiah,
Let's see. Can't remember
I'm
the
trying to pull it up. My internet's bad.
See, like right here, Isaiah 44 starts out, "But now hear, O Jacob, my servant, Israel, whom I have chosen." So is the servant Jesus?
In that passage, no.
Right. So if we keep going, let's see, Lord of Hosts, King of Israel. We're keeping the same line of thought here throughout like all of Isaiah. Israel is not forgotten. Oh, wait, here we go. Remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, you are my servant. So like over and over and
So,
over again in Isaiah does it like repeat
mm,
itself. So like once we get to Isaiah 53, why is it that we should assume that the servant is anything other than Jacob or Israel?
so I have two things I'm trying. So first, in Isaiah, it obviously says, trying to pull it up, says that he was crushed for their iniquities.
Okay, was Israel
So it would
crushed?
make no sense to say that Israel
Was
was
crushed for
crushed
their
for
iniquities?
Israel's iniquity.
You,
And
have
second,
you have
well,
you read the Old Testament? Do you know that Israel is like that's all they ever talk
and
about is that they are suffering
Isaiah,
for the iniquities of
Isaiah,
themselves and the
3
nations?
verse 9,
Mm-hmm.
so he was assigned with a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Did Israel do no violence and no deceit in his mouth?
They made his grave with the wicked and his tomb with the rich. Although he had done no violence and there was no did Jesus do no violence?
Without sin.
Do you think like cutting off somebody's ear with a sword or
That was
whipping
Peter.
It's
Jesus turned
mentioned.
over the table.
That was Peter.
Yeah,
And then
flipping the
Jesus put it back
tables,
on.
whipping people.
Again, flipping the tables is because there's righteous anger and righteous wrath that can be poured out.
So now we're
And
getting
they
into
were
like
selling.
semantics of violence. Okay, but let's go back here
Yeah, so, okay. There's
and
definitely no
read.
deceit.
Let's read
So
it though. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that is before its shears is silent. So he did not open his mouth. By perversion of justice he was taken away. Who could have imagined his future? For he was cut off from the land of the living, stricken for the transgression of my people. That is referring to Israel. This is like while they're in exile from the Babylonian exile, they're trying to reason why that is. And they're saying we are suffering during this exile because our people are the chosen people. God loves us so much that he's actually doing this so we suffer for the transgressions of the others, even though we haven't done a lot of these things. And that's like their special kind of cope with what they're dealing with. And you know, like from a psychological like standpoint, that makes a lot of sense to me. So
yeah.
I still don't
So
understand, like,
um,
and nothing is really like pointing directly to Jesus out of this. So what's your next point?
so again, I just feel like you're really trying to force this. So verse
Am
7, he was
I
oppressed
forcing
and
it or are
afflicted.
you forcing it is the question.
Me? Hold on.
Yeah.
And he was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. That doesn't
How
sound
about
much
did
like
Jesus
Israel.
have kids?
He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and like a sheep was silent. That doesn't sound like much like Israel.
Even
Saying that
though
they were
they're
silent.
referring to Israel in every single, like almost every verse or chapter before this, they're saying, my servant, Jacob, Israel, oh Israel, my servant, Jacob, which I showed you.
It still makes no. It still makes no sense to say that they had done no violence and no deceit in their mouth. So this can't be referring to Israel.
Why? I don't understand, like, just because of this
Did
one
Israel have
verse.
violence or deceit in their mouth?
I mean, I would say that Jesus has more deceit in his mouth than Israel may have.
Oh,
This is also like, once again, not a prophecy. This is Israel kind of dealing with what they're like going through. So
so I'm still asking, how did they not have violence or any deceit in their mouth?
to ask for like this hyper specific, like, do you want me to, they actually, I mean, of course had violence. I think that they had violence, but they think themselves have violence? Maybe these people were born while in exile. They hadn't done anything and they're wondering, why is this happening to me? Right?
You said it's referring to Israel before.
Israel is the people. Jacob
Mm-hmm.
is the people of
Mm-hmm.
Israel. The like the Jewish people, the Hebrews. Right? So that's what they're saying, like, oh, Jacob, or Israel, my servant, is referring to the people, the chosen ones. That's like the whole crux of the Old Testament, is setting out the chosen people from El Elyon. You know, the Most High was giving Yahweh Israel. And I think that's in Genesis. It's also, there's a psalm that refers to it. I can't remember which one. And then now those people, which are then named Jacob, are at this point in time, the writing of Isaiah. Well, I mean, Isaiah was written in 3 different times, basically, but at this point in time was referring to the exile, and they're basically just trying to cope with what they're dealing with. And I don't understand how any of this is a prophecy, because in
You cut out for
Deuteronomy,
the last like 10 seconds.
what's that? So in Deuteronomy,
You've cut out for like the last 15 seconds.
I
I
cut
haven't been able
out.
to hear what you're saying.
Did I cut out, chat?
Yeah, I haven't been able to hear what you said
For
for the
me,
last
but
like 10
maybe for
seconds.
him, it must be his
I can hear you now.
Wi-Fi.
Okay. So anyways, Deuteronomy tells us what a prophecy is. Let me see, which one is it? Which this is God's word, right? So in Deuteronomy, let's see. Is it Deuteronomy 28? Basically, in it, yeah, it's 1822. Sorry. So let's go there real quick because we really need to know what a prophecy is because, what you're showing me is not a prophecy. So in Deuteronomy 18:22, right, it says, if a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, but the thing does not take place or prove true, it is a word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously, and do not be frightened by it. So we are now defining that a prophecy is something that is going to happen, and then it has to happen. Now, one could say that a prophecy is in Isaiah like 8, where or it's actually like actualized in Isaiah 8. It's the prophecies made in Isaiah 7. And I think Matthew tries to wrongly say that, like a child will be born of a virgin, when what is actually being told by Isaiah is that a woman is with a child right now. And by the time that child knows right from wrong, all of these kings and all of these lands will be left. And then in chapter 8 of Isaiah, that actually happens. So there's a prophecy, and also why Isaiah is being called a prophet, right? If it doesn't actually happen, and if it's not told like specifically how it's going to happen, then it can't be considered a prophecy. Now, Isaiah 53 is not what I'm seeing that. Like, I see you forcing Isaiah 53 to be a prophecy when I see a lament in cope. Because I don't see future tense, was oppressed, was afflicted. They made his grave with the wicked. Like, why would they speak in the past tense if they're referring to something in the future?
Yeah, I got you. So I only have like another about 10 minutes and I gotta go. So right now we're just kind of like a dog chasing its tail. So I
Well,
want to
no,
move
I
on
mean,
to.
I'm just trying to say, like, these are why I'm not convinced on these things.
Mhm.
Do you have like an actual prophecy?
Sure. We're gonna go. I'm gonna flip between a New Testament passage and an Old Testament passage real quick for the next like 10 minutes.
Sure. What's the New Testament
Sure.
passage?
So I'm gonna be at the end of Mark 14. So at the end of this is where Jesus is before the Sanhedrin. I'm reading in verse 60. It says, then the high priest stood up before them, asked Jesus, are you not going to answer? What is the testimony that these men are bringing against you? But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Again, the high priest asked him, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One? I am, said Jesus, and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest tore his clothes. Why do we need any more witness? He asked. You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? They all condemned him as worthy of death. Then I'm going to flip back to Daniel chapter 7.
Okay.
And I'm going to be reading in verses, I'll start in verse 8 of chapter 8. Now remember what Jesus says in verse 62 when he says that the Son of Man is sitting
Wait,
at the right hand of the Mighty One
wait,
and
chapter
coming on the
8?
clouds of heaven. Daniel
Chapter
chapter
8,
7,
chapter 7, verse 62?
verse 8. I'm in Daniel.
Okay. Sorry.
So while I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and three of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth that spoke boastfully. As it looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was white as snow, the hair of his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him, 10,000 times 10,000, stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. Then I continued to watch because of the boastful words the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and thrown into a blazing fire. The other beasts had been stripped of their authority, but were allowed to live for a period of time. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power over all peoples, nations, and men of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and the kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. So Mark 14, Jesus says that he is the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven.
Mhm.
Daniel chapter 7 says that there before me came one like a son of man coming with the clouds of heaven. And then he approached the ancients of the days, took his seat, and it says that his kingdom is an everlasting kingdom and that it will never be destroyed. And we know that from the New Testament that the kingdom of God is an everlasting kingdom. So this prophecy is a parallel between the New and Old Testament. And here, Jesus is the Son of Man that's riding on the clouds.
Okay. So you're saying that the kingdom is the kingdom of heaven, and
Mm.
that the writing on the clouds is coming straight from Daniel, which is an end times prophecy, right? This is talking about around the end times, and the four beasts are what is it? Rome, Greece, Babylon, and a fourth.
Sure, I think Persian Empire.
Yeah,
I think something like that. I forget.
yeah, I think you're right. So this is referring to like a little bit after the exile, and because I think Daniel was written in about like 200 300 BCE, and which was around the Macedonian like kind of incursion on of Israel, which is why they're actually referring, I believe, to Alexander somewhere in Daniel as like the lion or the goat.
Mm.
Sorry, one of them is a goat, one is a lion. So we're getting like one little thing that's saying, okay, so the Son of Man will come with his clouds, but all other prophecies that I've heard, I even believe Daniel somewhere says, like that these, like any kind of reference to like the anointed one, or I guess this one says he came to the ancient one, uh, is like going to be a king that sits on the throne of David. Now to say that, yeah, okay, like the Son of Man came on the clouds and the world ended. Did the world end though when Jesus came on the clouds? Or has he not come on
Second
the
time.
clouds yet?
Second time. His second coming.
Okay, but does it say that there will be a second coming? Because we just talked about Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy explains that if it doesn't happen the way it said, then it's not of the Lord. So are you
Well,
calling Daniel like a liar, not a prophet?
I don't see how that follows. Can you say that again?
Where is the second coming mentioned in Daniel? There's only one coming.
It's in the New Testament. I'm just saying how Jesus is referring back to this.
Well, right. And, like if I had a book of prophecies and I wanted to be considered like a cult leader or, Messiah figure, I would also just only quote part of, the prophets of this older book. So I'm still not seeing where like the Jewish like narrative, which to me is another, like this is another code because they're getting attacked by all these different like kingdoms, and they're saying that they're going to be split up, things are going to be better. The second temple is like gonna be destroyed. So like that's not good for Daniel in this prophecy. But yeah, also it was written after the fact, but still it doesn't, I don't see where like this is like definitive proof that Jesus is this, anointed one, or the one coming down from the clouds, if it hasn't happened yet. And you're saying that he already did come, but that wasn't the right coming. It's got to be the second coming is what this one means. Even though nowhere in this prophecy does it say that this person will already have come, will be persecuted. I guess maybe if you take Isaiah 53 and you try and like backwards, like work that back into it and say like, okay, well, Daniel says that he's going to come on the clouds, but that's after he's already been like suffering and doing all these things for the people's iniquities. And then he'll come again on the clouds. It's just,
Mm.
there's a lot of like, to me, like gymnastics that are going on. I just don't see that. Where, like, to me, this just reads as, once again, the Jewish people kind of telling themselves, like, okay, we're going to get through this. We're going to have, like, everything's going to be great. Like, time sucks right now, but we have something to look forward to, right? And I think that that's what a lot of it is, in the Old Testament, especially for the prophets. I don't think like any prophecy actually even ever came true. If that's the case, then I would like to hear about it. Like there's a lot of claims, there's a lot of self-fulfilling prophecies, if you will, but I don't see anything that is like definitive of Jesus being this like answer to any of these like Jewish prophets, if you will.
Mm.
So that's that. I'm still not convinced. What you've given me though are good like arguments. I think that they could be worked on a little bit, maybe to like connect them to each other, because I don't understand how this would like refer to the second coming.
So when it talks about starting in verse 10, a river of fire was flowing, coming out before him, thousand upon thousand attended him, 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The courts were sealed and the books were open. Does this not sound like to you an end times prophecy from Revelation?
Right, but Jesus already came, right?
Yeah. But you're saying this is an end times prophecy.
So a prophecy
And
saying
and
that this guy is going to come
what I'm saying is that
and then he's
in
going to come
Mark, he's
again.
referring back to it. He's referring back to that he is the Son of Man that's coming on the clouds.
Okay, but where does it say that the Son of Man was already on earth before this and then was passed away for his iniquities and now is going to come again on the clouds and bring about the end times?
Not all in this passage, but yeah.
I don't see the first part. It says, in the
What are you
first
talking
year of
about?
King Belshazzar of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. Okay, saw in my vision 4 beasts, the lion, eagle's wings, like all these. I see things that line up with around the time that Daniel was written, like the Macedonian, like coming and basically the Hellenization of the Jewish people. Judgment afore the ancient one. As I watched, the thrones were set in place. I don't see where like this person that was once living and then was persecuted, like you're saying in Isaiah 53, will come again, and then that's where the Son of Man. Like I just feel like that prophecy is not like lining up with the other prophecy that it wasn't to me even. That doesn't even seem like a prophecy. So I just don't see the
I'm not quite
connection
seeing how
here.
your logic's flowing right now.
So I'm saying Jesus. Oh, hold on. Jesus is the Messiah. The Messiah is not prophesied to come twice. Now, a prophecy, according to Deuteronomy, says that it has to be specific, that it has to happen. Like it has to have been said to happen, and then it does happen. Now,
Mhm.
I don't see where they're saying, this person lived, was tortured, and then the end time's coming. I see the hold on, not now, sorry, till I see two different descriptions of two different times is what I'm seeing here. Now Daniel is definitely more of this is definitely a prophecy of the end times. Like this is definitely saying like, oh shit's about to go down. And I don't see anywhere else that this is, like Jesus in any sort of way, because Jesus
So
already
is
came.
Jesus the Son of Man?
He's
When it says the
claiming to
Son of Man
be.
riding on the clouds.
So is he the Son of Man before he resurrects or after he resurrects? Is he the Son of Man when he comes back from the clouds?
He's the eternal logos.
That's I don't care what that like what. I
He's,
don't understand
he's the eternal second person of the Trinity. There's
how can a
no
person
beginning.
come not be the Messiah, which we also hear in Isaiah there's that the Messiah will be like of the line of David. I even think Daniel mentions that the Messiah is of the line of David, and it will be anointed. I mean, like the actual term Messiah means the anointed one, or like going to be a king on earth, uh sitting the throne of David, a la David or Solomon, or any other like Jewish king, of which Jesus is not. Jesus is coming with this kingdom that hasn't come yet. So we have a Messiah yet to be that is prophesied, but he already came and he already died and then he resurrected. But that wasn't the prophecy of like that this is referring to. This is referring to the end times, whereas the end times, according to Daniel, means when the Messiah comes, the end times come. The difference that you're trying to make here is that Jesus is this exception to the rule, I guess, and that it's a double prophecy, or like it's happening twice. Like half happens when he's born, and then it's half happening when he comes again. So like
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't see how Jesus is fitting into any of that.
I mean, this is an end times prophecy, so
Yeah,
I'm still
and what
struggling to
I'm
see how
trying
your
to say
logic's
is
prophecy.
that
Yeah.
when Jesus was risen, I guess, from the dead, which is not even in any prophecy, like doing his thing, when Jesus is there, then that was when the end time should have happened, which is what a lot of like the preterists believed, that the end times was the destruction of the second temple, and that the end times had already happened. So like that makes more sense to me logically, like a preterist view. But I don't see how this would make sense at all. And like as I don't know how like Roman Catholics usually don't do. Roman Catholics take the Bible as like the complete, and like everything like is just within the Bible, or that, because if I remember right, like the Pope can even on earth as it is in heaven. So
We have
like to rely
authority
so
outside of the
hard on
Bible.
the verses of the Bible is kind of odd to me.
We have authority outside of the Bible. So um, the Pope can only make infallible statements ex cathedra, which means he can bring the bishops together and make
So
an infallible statement. And he can also call ecumenical councils. So that's the authority he has.
so then as a Roman Catholic, why wouldn't you just say like then this is probably wrong? That Daniel was wrong,
I don't
uh,
see how that follows.
because the Catholics don't rely completely on the Bible. Like the Bible could be wrong.
We say it's the infallible, inspired word of God. We just say the
And
church
maybe
collectively.
that's the difference between Roman Catholics and like other types of
Yeah.
Catholics.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
like, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I do you have anything else that would convince me? I mean, this all sounds like depressing if Jesus is like going to bring about these times to me, like fire and flames and punishment. Uh I don't really see how that follows with like the Jewish narrative. Whereas that's more of a, like the fire and flames and punishment will come and then a new earth will follow. But
Mm.
I don't see where like this, idea of like judgment would come. And I don't see how it's like somebody that came already, and then that wasn't the Messiah. Then he becomes like the Messiah after, according to the prophets. It just
So this is
it
more the
sounds
second
like
coming.
it's shoehorning Jesus into these prophecies that I am understanding completely differently. Like I don't know. So if that's, I mean, do you have anything else that you'd like to discuss? You said you didn't have much time left.
I don't know. That's all I got.
All right. Well, no, I do appreciate it. And those are just like my critiques on what you're saying. I'm confused. There's a little bit of like things aren't lining up completely to me. I don't think Isaiah 53 is a prophecy. I'm glad you didn't say like Psalms 22 or 23 or whatever, which one it is.
Psalm 22. Thought about that one there.
It's not a prophecy either. Like that's a lament of David, right? And like we could go over that real quick and just say like, yeah, you know, maybe Jesus was up on a cross and said these things, but who's to say that Jesus didn't just read that in the book and this was like quoting it, you know?
Right.
Otherwise, like I think a lot of it does rely on like Deuteronomy and that the word of God is what will happen. And if that does not happen, then it is not true. And that you should not pay any attention to it. So, and that's like, you know, of Moses, right? Like this is to me a higher like calling than any of the so-called prophets, because if it didn't happen, then they're not a prophet. So that's just kind of my take on it. But I do appreciate you coming in. And we do need to get to the next guest. I do have a couple people on TikTok here. So thanks for coming in. Appreciate you, Matthew. I hope I didn't I don't want to be coming like off as too rude. I don't want to take away any kind of faith or anything, but it's just these are my kind of hangups with what you brought forth.
We're so nice. There's
No,
no way
no,
that
good.
came
It was
off
nice
rude.
talking to you.
Okay. Yep. Have a good night.
You too.
Nicest guy on TikTok right here.
I'm just multitasking and it's like, oh my gosh, he's trying to go over Daniel. All right. Let's see. Keith is here.
Anointed one or the one coming down from the clouds.
Can you pause the
If it
yeah, there you
hasn't
go.
happened yet, he already did come,
I can hear myself.
but that was
Hello?
I fixed it.
Keith, can I get your age real
hey,
quick?
What's up, brother?
And
31.
All right. And what brings you to the discussion? Are you going to convince me to become a Christian?
I just wanted to ask a couple quick questions in regards to.
Sure.
So, do you believe that the Bible has dual function when it uses words?
Do I believe that the Bible has dual function when it comes to its words? What do you mean by that?
So, for instance, Israel. Like, what is Israel by definition?
Israel is the Jacob, the people, the Hebrew people.
So it has multiple meanings, right?
Oh, I like.
Are you asking, do we believe in dual fulfilled prophecies? Like a prophecy can be fulfilled twice by two different entities?
Or are you trying to, or are you saying like since it refers to like Israel as this character, Jacob, that there might
Correct.
be two meanings? Like Jacob was a character and it's also representative of the people.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, then I would agree.
So when you're talking about Isaiah's prophecy in regards to Israel, what's being spoken about in Isaiah 53 when it says Israel?
In Isaiah 53, it's talking about the iniquities that are being suffered by Israel, and basically the way that I read it is, and I believe that a lot of scholars would agree, is that this is the Jewish people kind of telling themselves, we're going through these hard times because we are the chosen ones, and that we will be, you know, like awarded later on for this, and we are like suffering for the iniquities of the nations around us.
Hey, Keith, you have a lot of kind of weird background noise. So when Benny talks, would you mind muting your microphone?
Or
Oh yeah,
like,
sorry about that.
if you're on like a Bluetooth or something, or
Yeah, sorry, I got my little infant right beside me, so my apologies.
You're
He's
fine.
chilling. So you'll say a lot of scholars. Are you talking about Jewish scholars?
I'm just
Talmudic?
I mean, I guess like Christian scholars would not want to agree with that, but I believe that like Mark Gurman and Dan McClellan would probably kind of lean that way.
Yeah, Old Testament scholars,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, who would determine the meaning of it? Would it be the people or the giver of the prophecy?
I would say, you know, just read the words, right? And throughout the whole chapter of Isaiah, it's going through multiple things that Israel had either gone through or, you know, is storied to go through. And that all makes sense to me, right? And this is more so the Jewish people kind of comforting themselves in a hard time, because you know the Babylonian exile was a really hard time for the Jewish people. They had like lost their identity completely, and they were actually trying to like get it back together and kind of trying to piece it back together at this point in time. So when they say like, you know, we've suffered for all of these things, for the transgressions of all nations, you know, and for our own transgressions or what have you, they're just telling themselves like we're going through this hard time because, you know, we are the chosen ones. We are the ones that are chosen by Yahweh to go through this, and then, you know, we will come out of this, you know, peacefully. Isaiah or many other prophets, they say, you know, like the Messiah will bring about peace for Israel. See, there's another thing, is Israel in peace? You know, Jesus didn't really bring peace to Israel. Israel's not in peace right now.
You know, Rabbi Bert likes to point out that what the point of this is that Israel is the only one who can save Israel. And there's three ways that Israel has to be redeemed: repentance, pursuit of righteous equity, and self mediation. So this is about Israel saving Israel from its own iniquities.
But again, that kind of like the divert of the question. So I was the question that I asked directly was, when in regards to Israel, when the person is giving the information of Israel, how is it meant to be interpreted? Is it meant to be interpreted by the person giving the information or the person receiving the information? So the intent, the original intent of the author.
The intent is for the audience, and the audience would be Israel.
It was definitely like for the people around the time of exile, like in its original context.
So when Israel is first used, is it representative of a people or a person?
Well, at this time, Israel was in exile in Babylon, so it meant the people of Israel. It didn't mean like the land of Israel or something like that.
No, I'm saying the term Israel when it was first introduced.
Okay, so Jacob wasn't, you know, a character any longer. Jacob was very, very early on in the Old Testament.
Yes, but in the same book of Isaiah, Jacob is mentioned, and he's not there, is he?
Jacob is another like term for Israel. So the Jewish people do tend to kind of redefine things as time goes on.
So in the same book,
at one
it's
point,
interchangeable.
Yeah,
the word Jacob and Israel are interchangeable to mean the people of Israel. And there are several reasons why this isn't Jesus that wasn't really pointed out earlier. When it says that kings shall shut their mouths because of him, kings didn't shut their mouths because of Jesus. And it says, surely he was born with infirmities and carried our diseases. Jesus never had disease. Then it says he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Jesus did. We just read it in Mark. It also says that when you make his life an offering for sin, he shall see his offspring. Jesus didn't have offspring.
Again, you're missing it, because again, scripture has multiple meanings, just like the term Jacob. If the author is using Jacob and Israel within the same sentence, that means there's a distinguishing mark between those two terms.
But when
dual prophecy didn't exist.
No, I didn't say dual prophecy. I said Isaiah. So if I say Isaiah and Jacob in the same sentence, that means I'm making a distinction between the two, because you're just saying, oh, they're used interchangeably. They're equal to the exact same thing, but that doesn't follow. It's just like, for instance,
by the point that Isaiah is talking, Jacob is referring to, it's just like a poetic name for the people of Israel. My servant Jacob, or Israel, is the Hebrew people. They are the sons, or like, Jacob, the son of Abraham. And that's what the people of Israel are considered. I mean, we can like look it up. Do you not believe that that's what we're trying to say?
No, I know what I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying when the author is using the term Israel and Jacob within the same exact sentence, he's making it a distinguishing. What separates those two terms within the same sentence or the same book? What sets it apart?
You're saying that Jacob and Israel are not the same?
Based on the context, no, they're not the same. So, say for instance, if I was to say who's Jacob and who's Israel, we'll both say, oh, it's the same exact person. Obviously, if we go back to I believe it's Genesis, you'll say, yeah, they're the exact same person. But why would God change Jacob's name to Israel? He's making it distinguishing. So why change his name if it's the exact same person?
Well, Rabbi, would you want to answer that one, I guess?
Yeah, no problem. We just read this last week. Israel is the name given to Jacob when Jacob refused to let go of this mystery man that he wrestled with from sundown to sunup.
Mystery man or angel?
Well, it says Ish. It says man. It's an unnamed man, and the tradition says that it's an angel, but it's not listed as an angel.
So in the same book, did he call him God by any chance or no?
You what?
Did he call him God?
He said, I wrestled with God, and he said, you wrestled with God and human beings and persevered. And he said, surely, he said something along the lines of like, I saw God face to face, and I survived. I think, you could interpret this a number of ways, but that's what the text says.
So if we just read the text plainly, so you're saying Jacob saw God face to face and lived?
No, that's not what I said. I said that he said that I came face to face with God and persevered.
So he saw God.
Like I said, it's not that that's not what it says. It says
So
I came face to face with God.
he came face to face
Panim
with
el
God.
panim. Did it say Ra'iti Elohim or did it say Panim el panim?
He saw God just the same way as I believe our forefather Abraham, right?
Can you come face to face with somebody and not see them?
Yes. A blind person could.
Okay, great.
A blind person.
Yeah, great, perfect. Or if
But
you're not
again,
looking at them,
he wrestled
right?
with God, right?
This is splitting hairs and not really
Well,
interesting.
it's not splitting hairs because even some of your
So
scholars have actually said that.
If he saw him, it would have said, and he lifted his eyes and he saw them coming from afar. It would have said something like that. Panim el panim is it's an idiom meaning that they were in close proximity with each other.
So he wrestled with someone from a distance?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So
it's like saying an idiom, like when you see eye to eye, that doesn't actually mean you are seeing each other with each other's eyes, right?
Yeah, you don't put your eyeballs on each other.
Yeah.
So who did he wrestle with?
An unnamed Ish.
But he referred to that person as who?
Here, let's just look at the text. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. What verse? You guys just read it? Where are you guys right now? Crystal?
Back in Isaiah 53.
Jacob.
I don't know if we're going to the wrestling part, which is a different.
Genesis 32. And it says 32 verse 30. So Jacob called to the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." Why would he say that if it says God says no one can see me face to face and
Give him
live?
just a second. He's pulling it up. We have to be patient.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is an interesting conversation, honestly. I'm 30. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." So this does say saw.
It actually does say, I was completely wrong. It says Ra'iti Elohim, exactly what I said it didn't say. So I apologize.
You good,
I
my man?
apologize. Yeah, thank you.
You're good. So
That's
Jacob
so
called God.
funny. So rare that happens.
Hey man, it happens.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the question about Isaiah 53, though?
Yeah, I still don't understand. Like, so Jacob is called Israel, right? Because that means to wrestle with God. So Jacob wrestles with God. Jacob is Israel. Israel, I would say, is the people. I don't think Jacob's alive by Isaiah, is he?
No, well, I think, yeah, so the... All right, I overtalk. I think I have a delay.
I don't know who that was.
That was me.
If you can mute
Oh,
while other people are talking, that would really help. I can't mute it.
Okay.
I think the issue of Isaiah 53 is that you have to understand the historical context in which this was written. Israel is a people, a place, and a disposition. It is a people. It is both the person Jacob in the story, who is representative of or father of the 12 tribes, which is the Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, the nation of Israel. And it is the place, in other words, the land, but it is also the disposition, the wrestling, the struggling with God and people. And the story that puts them into the Babylonian exile is that Israel had strayed from the law, that they had fallen away from their relationship and covenant with God. And that is what caused them to go into exile. So by their own transgressions, they were wounded. In other words, they experienced the pain and suffering and flagellation of exile by their own fault.
Now, I would have a quick question in regards to the sacrificial system. In regards to the Old Testament, the sacrificial system, can you bring a lame animal to the sacrificial system to pay your sins?
Okay, yeah, what's the question?
So,
I mean, I feel like we're pivoting a lot,
no,
just to be clear. But
it's the reason why. There's a reason why
okay,
I'm asking that question. My apology. I'm not trying to pivot, boss.
no, okay.
So, in regards to the Old Testament law, when it came to sacrifice, were you allowed to bring a lame animal to your sacrifice for your sins, to atone your sins?
No, definitely not. No blemish. No blemish is allowed.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you could use like a ephah of flour.
So, in regards to that, is that an image? Would you say, because you have to be sinless? Purity has to actually take place. Well, purity must die in order to take the sins.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the idea of blemish is more of a physical image as opposed to a spiritual blemish, if you will.
I would disagree.
If you had to be blemish free, then Jesus certainly does not meet that standard as the sacrifice, because according to Christian lore, he was beaten and beyond recognition, which would then make him not eligible to be the sacrifice.
So, as I was saying, the high priest, before he entered into the holies of holies, he would, if he had spiritual sin upon him, he would die in the holies of holies, and they'll have to drag him out, right?
Sure.
Yep, they roped him up. They had him roped up so that they could pull him out just in case.
Now, before he even became, say for instance,
and they had an alternate.
Correct. So before he became a high priest, he also had to also be physically pure. So what killed him was not the fact that he was physical, but it would be a spiritual impurity, right?
Well, yeah, but hold on, just to be clear, so there, yes, and also animals aren't sinning. Like what you're describing is the ritualistic language that is used for animals, also used for people that are.
Hello.
I'm still here.
Did we lose
But
you?
you broke up and now we can't hear you.
Oh,
Keith, I do
no.
have to tell you something. I will say something and you will blow right past what I say as if I'm
Yeah,
not
I
hearing.
didn't.
And I'm finding it a little disrespectful.
Yeah,
just
why?
So you know.
Why won't you acknowledge what Crystal was saying?
Because Crystal missed the entire point of Isaiah, so you're
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So
You're just totally dismissing me, and it's not very.
Yeah, at least give a reasoning why. You can't just.
when was the sacrifice
Sorry.
accepted after it's burnt, Miss Crystal?
Was the
Sorry,
sacrifice
what was your
accepted?
question? Because there's kind of broken up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm saying so. With the sacrifices, when you read the
I
Old
apologize.
Testament, they had to be slaughtered prior to be burning, right, Miss Crystal?
Yeah. Well, depending on what type of sacrifice, yes, there was different rituals. Yes.
So they would be cut and torn to pieces prior to being sacrificed, right?
That was part of the sacrifice. That's not before. That is part of the sacrificial ritual.
Correct. So you would be torn apart.
Also, just to be clear, hold on. Let's be very, very, very specific about this. The way in which a sacrifice was done was methodical. In other words, the animal. By the way, the animal first of all has to be a kosher animal. Okay, human beings are not kosher animals. It would not be an accepted sacrifice to sacrifice a human being. Second of all, the animal would have to be unalived in a kosher way, which is to say, shechted, or they're. I don't know how to describe this without being unsafe
Just
TikTok ways, but okay, that their throats would have to be nicked perfectly.
Gotcha.
And
you got to splatter it.
Yes, exactly, and that their red liquid, their body juice, would have to be drained completely, and that then that juice would then be smeared and flicked and sprayed upon the altar itself.
Which has got to be a specific
I would just
altar,
like to clarify. Yeah, and Rabbi, is it not true? Did that animal had to be blemish free? If something happened as I went to bring it into the temple and I marred it in any way, would it be accepted as the sacrifice?
It's interesting you ask that, because one of the stories that explains why the temple was destroyed from the Jewish perspective was that a ne'er-do-well nicked a sacrifice on behalf of nicked the cheek of a Roman sacrifice purposefully, so that the sacrifice wouldn't be permissible. In other words, was essentially trying to start shit with the Romans by taking the Roman sacrifice, because the Romans used the altar also for their own sacrifices, but it had to be under the rule of the Jewish sacrifice. So they couldn't sacrifice pigs on the altar or something like that, but they could offer through the Jewish sacrifice, whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is that the story goes that this guy, in order to be a pot stirrer, sliced the cheek of one of the animals that was being sacrificed, and that was part of the story that caused the temple to be destroyed.
So no, they could not be marred in any way and be considered the sacrifice.
Yeah,
Well, I thought
sorry, that was so much.
The
And then
impure
my
ones
last-
could be given
Oh,
they're usually like the scapegoat or what have you that they leave off to the forest.
Well, even the scapegoat would have to be a pure animal. Like,
was it?
in the
Did it have
story
to be
of
pure?
Azazel, yeah, yeah, because you were casting lots, so essentially,
Oh, that's
like, one of
right.
them could have,
Okay.
one of them could have been.
For some reason, I
you
thought
didn't know which one.
Yeah, and it was the
And my
casting of
last
lots.
question,
Yeah.
Rabbi, is in Isaiah 53. You and I have spoke before, and when we've spoke before, you talked about how Israel needed to redeem themselves, and there was 3 ways to be redeemed: repentance, tzedakah, which is the pursuit of righteous equity, and self-mediation. So, would you say that I do understand Isaiah 53?
I'm all choked up. That's so kind.
And so
That's
maybe
so nice.
the man of God should not be over here dismissing me as if I missed the whole point, because I don't think I missed the point.
Yeah, do you have something to say about that, Keith?
This community is so special.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so absolutely seen. Thank
So,
you, Crystal. I'm
Thank
so
you, Rabbi.
overwhelmed. Thank you.
so to address the rabbi, quick question.
I want you to address me. You
What,
said I missed the point of Isaiah 53. You dismissed me. And then I just showed you I didn't miss the point of Isaiah 53. I did not miss the point of what sacrifice needed to be for the Jewish people. And yet you still dismiss me. I am a woman, and I know you don't like that because misogyny is deep within you. But do
what
not dismiss me, sir.
within me? No, ma'am. You quoted the rabbi, did you not? So you went to the rabbi as an authority, right? So I addressed the authority that you just quoted, right? So I'm not
No,
dismissing
you
you.
first dismissed me and said I missed the whole point of Isaiah 53.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Then
gonna.
I just steel manned Isaiah 53 to the rabbi to make sure I understood what I was talking about. And then you
You're
still dismissed me. Keith,
no,
I'm not
because you're
blind, stupid, or
again.
dumb. I know what you're doing.
I'm not
Stop
doing
it.
nothing.
Stop being a
Again,
misogynist and talk to me.
I'm literally. You just quoted the rabbi, so I'm going to your higher authority that you got that
So,
information from. Did you get it from him or did you get it from yourself? Out of
Keith, what I would
curiosity.
appreciate is people that actually like stand 10 tones down, like when they act a certain way. And you're definitely gaslighting right now. Like you're giving off the vibe of like anytime Crystal says something, you're like, so rabbi, so anyways, like you're not even trying to engage what Crystal, who is making very valid points, is saying.
She's quoting the rabbi, so I'm addressing where she got the information from, sir.
Does it
By the way, he
matter?
wasn't the only person I quoted. The only thing I quoted from him was that Israel has to redeem itself, and there were 3 ways to be redeemed. The rest of what I told you, when I told you that Jesus did not shut the mouths of kings, that Jesus was not sick, that Jesus was not quiet, that Jesus did not have children, the rabbi didn't teach me that because he's not a Christian.
So are you taking those texts literally?
What's the point if
I
we
have to offer one really.
go on?
I just have to offer one really. I have to leave pretty soon. I apologize, but the 3 questions that you have to be able to answer about Isaiah 53 is one: why would Isaiah be speaking about a time in the distant future? That why would he be talking to the people of Israel about a time in the distant future? One, why would he be speaking about it in the past tense? 2, and 3, why then is it so abundantly clear throughout the rest of the text when the servant is very clearly Israel and not anybody else?
So out of curiosity, has God ever spoken past tense when he's talking about prophecy?
You would have to show me that because to me it would be very confusing. It doesn't make any sense to make a prediction about the future in the past.
Because God is from beginning to end, right?
So that is not an answer to the question.
No, I'm
Just
saying.
because something is an infinite line doesn't make the infinite line
Have a beginning or end, yeah.
have different points on it that are out of order or something.
So if God speaks past tense, it's going to happen. He's already determined that it's going to happen.
Or it did already happen. It did already. Isaiah is describing something that has already happened, which is the return from Babylon, the redemption from Babylon.
Yeah.
That's what Isaiah is speaking about. And by the way, like this is the thing. Here's the thing. You must first acknowledge the context in which this was written. If you deny the Jewish experience and you deny what is written in the Babylonian Act, what is written about the Babylonian, if you do not understand Jeremiah 29, if you do not understand Jeremiah 39, if you do not understand Psalms 137, if you do not understand Deuteronomy, Isaiah, you will have denied Israel's experience. And that is just intellectually dishonest and frankly supersessionist. Now, if you say first, look, I know that Isaiah is writing this about Israel, and I know that this is about the Babylonian exile and the return of the Babylonian exile, and I know that this text would have been familiar to early Christians and might have even inspired people in a way to see themselves in this text and perhaps give a certain amount of meaning or weight to a message that they were trying to purvey. that would be an intellectually honest argument. Honestly, if I were your lawyer, I would advise you to take that take.
So what happens if I was to bring up historic rabbis who actually interpret the text the same way as I do?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Historic rabbi who thinks it's Jesus?
Not Jesus, but the Messiah. They assert that that's the Messiah.
Oh, I understand. That's what I'm saying. They would be doing the exact same thing. They would say, yes, this is about Israel, and also I'm going to use this text to bolster my own argument of messianism. I'm not trying to deny that people do that. What I'm saying is you must first acknowledge that it is about Israel. Like, you must first acknowledge, like, people, of course, people, why do you think we're still talking about this? People superimpose their worldview on this text all the time. That's exactly what people are doing. This is, by the way, this is Baruch Spinoza's argument against Judaism outside of its original context. He says that it's completely anachronistic to take Judaism out of its original context, because this was written for a people living in the Levant during the late Bronze Age. And so the fact that it has any relevance to you at any point is simply because of your pattern making capabilities, or pattern understanding capabilities. That's it.
Shalom.
And the fact that it's really good writing. Shalom.
Well, I think we might have hit a stopping point there. Rabbi, if you need to drop off, that's fine, because I'm about to close up everything either way. I do appreciate you, and I'm so glad that you came.
Appreciate you too. Kick
me
out of here, bro.
I just like to hear you.
Don't kick the man out. Don't kick him out. Don't kick him out.
No, I gotta wrap up, because my buddy, the Secular Perspective, which is another debate channel here on TikTok, aka Joyful Apostate, is live, and I want to try and redirect and maybe do a little bit of a raid for him, and maybe I'll pop up in his live or something, or Crystal might, or who knows. But Keith, I do appreciate you coming up, and I get what you're trying to say. And I think that you are saying that you can make the Bible mean whatever you want it to mean. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, sir. I'm simply just saying being consistent. Sorry, all the kids just woke up too. Yeah, I hold you, Bubba boy. I got like 3 of them in my arms right now.
All right. Well, maybe we'll have to continue the conversation later. I'm just going to boot you because you were rude to Crystal. I don't know why he was just like not acknowledging you at all. That was really
Men
weird.
of God do not like women's voices.
That was really weird to me. Like, it was very obvious. And it's like, when you're being obvious, I'd rather you just like own that, right?
I'll just say, oh, I'm a misogynist and you shouldn't talk, lady.
Yeah, you know, my Christianity says that women should not be speaking on these things. So blah blah blah.
Oh, Bug, does my voice bother you, Bug?
Oh, Bug.
Anyway, thank you for letting me come up. I had fun, and it was nice to release a little Dark Crystal today, because I held it back for Justin. I held it back.
Oh, is that what happened? People on YouTube, if you stick around, you're going to be automatically redirected, I believe. I set it up to redirect directly to Joyful Apostate, JA Debates, aka the Secular Perspective. He's in between titles right now, so he's got like 3 different titles at the moment. But
having an identity moment here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do appreciate everybody coming in. I'm still not convinced yet to become a Christian. In fact, that like those guys didn't really do that great of a job. And I learned, that I need to read up on my prophecies a little bit more, although I more or less hit it, maybe not directly on the head. But
you did great.
I understand.
I was so proud of you.
I understand what they mean by, what they're saying in Isaiah and Daniel, and it's not.
That's
Jesus.
why I was saying he has to say that's a dual fulfilled prophecy. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't just say it's Jesus. It has to be a dual fulfillment.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I don't know what I'm talking about. So there's that.
Go over
Okay,
to Joyful, aka Secular Perspective, JA Debates, and tell him Ben sent you. Bye, everybody.